Introducing Shop, Click, and Pick, the simplest way to support those doing good. We understand that shopping is a necessity, and with a slight adjustment, you can make a huge difference for those in need. Here's how it works. Visit communitypayitforward.us and navigate to the Find Your Partners tab. Discover our verified giving partners, trusted allies ready to meet your needs. Shop with any partner that resonates with you. Click a picture of your receipt or invoice. Pick a mission partner you wish to support and use their QR code to send a receipt to us. Then all you have to do is sit back and enjoy your purchase, knowing you've made a meaningful change for someone in need. Community Pay It Forward amplifies your business's impact by sharing your story with those who require your services, rallying support for those who need us all. Because no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. It was one long year ago tomorrow. Actually, nope. One long year ago Wednesday that three of us sat together in this studio and started Footprints Forward. That would be Mr. Z and the Goddess of the Grape, Stephanie Samos. We ended up bringing on a couple fantastic guests, starting with Dennis Schroeder, and just carried it all the way through with some great people. And I want to thank everyone who was a part of year one of Footprints Forward. Starting off year two, things are going to be a little bit different. We are now going to be me primarily. That does not mean that we're not going to have the family come back in every once in a while. I'm hoping that we get to have them on more often than not, but it's primarily going to be me hosting this show. I've been watching the news today, and that's always a dangerous thing. Because I see what's going on in the world, and I don't quite get it. Right now, I don't understand why we are protesting violence with violence, protesting hate with hate. That's something that I'll never understand. Look, things don't always go as we want them to go as a community, as a country. I don't think it's any secret that the stuff that's going on across the ocean in the Middle East right now, I think that we'd all be a hell of a lot happier if that wouldn't have happened. If October 7th wouldn't have happened, and if the other side was playing it a little bit different, a little bit safer, and not and limiting the damage. War's an ugly thing. It always has been. War's an ugly thing. The one thing I do have to say is, I do appreciate, and this is having two sons who, quite frankly, they're in the age where they could be taken if needed. Um, but I do appreciate that we are staying out of it with our children. Um, I don't want to see my kids have to go fight anybody. I just don't. I don't. I think that we can do things a lot different, and I don't think that we need to go fight uh, all the time. I thought long and hard about this, and I postponed our guest for today because I wanted to replay this video that I recorded a long time ago, because I think that this is the message in this video is so important, and especially for this time right now. They created a program called the Human Contract. And this is about treating each other with respect and caring about each other. Look, I'm not a hippie guy. I'm not a guy that doesn't believe that there's a time for there's a time and a place for everything. But we need to treat each other. We're never going to solve anything if we continue to disrespect each other. Now, I'm going to say this one more time because I think this is very important. We are never going to get anywhere, solve anything, if we continue to disrespect each other. I come from a climate where disrespect is something that is not welcomed at all. Okay. It's not accepted, it's not welcomed, and it can get you hurt. And I just don't understand why there are people out there right now who are thinking that we can get away with doing this to each other. Okay. Um, repetition, repetition warning. You cannot get everything that you want in life. You got to give to get. Ultimately, I wish things were different. I wish we didn't have two sides that are politically so far apart that they're splitting up families in this country. I wish we didn't have two separate wars going on that are proving nothing except for the intolerance and the hatred towards each other. I think this is the time when we have to come together as a people. We have to agree that, look, we need to treat each other with love, with kindness, and we need to support each other. If we can agree to do that, maybe we can make a difference. But if every time somebody says something, we're sitting on the other end going, well, you're an idiot, all that's going to do is piss people off and they're not going to want to work with us. Let's find common ground. And the common ground that we can find can be told to you by my two great friends. I love these two. I love these two. I love these two. I love these two. This is Maria Dolores and Stefan Hines from The Human Contract. Please check this out. Check out what they say. Thank you, Dalmas. I appreciate it. And please take care of yourself and take care of everyone. That's all we're asking you to do. But thank you for your support and thank you for watching. And I hope you find the good in this next program. This video lasts for about an hour, and then I'll be back and I'm going to introduce you to a wonderful new friend of ours. Tanya Block-Rawson has joined the program, and she's got a wonderful, wonderful program that has increased our emails by tenfold. And I'm not joking on that. So I'm going to introduce her in a little bit of a program talking about what she's got going on. But once again, this is a great friend, beautiful, beautiful lady, Maria Dolores, and beautiful man. I'll give him that. He's got great hair because he's still got hair. You know, some of us don't. We got a nice 5 head going. So, but Stefan Hines, this is The Human Contract. Please watch this. Take something from this. Very excited for this. I met Maria a couple weeks ago at a new networking event that talks about speakers. And I was in there doing my thing, introducing Community Pay It Forward, talking about the event on the 22nd, and caught Maria's eye. And thankfully, she reached out to me and said, hey, I would really like to talk to you. And when Maria, we had our conversation, I was so intrigued with what you guys are doing. I'd like to introduce Maria Dolores and Stefan Hines, the founders of The Human Contract. How are you both doing?
Really, really great. And we're so happy to be here with you on this show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I am so excited about the prospect of what we can do together, because you guys in The Human Contract, you guys take and put different wording on the same thing that we're trying to do, and make sure that you're trying to give everybody a chance, because everybody deserves a chance to live a happy and healthy life. Please tell me, what is The Human Contract?
Yeah, thank you. So, Zach, the 7 principles of human dignity is the human contract, and that we are born with our rights. Every single human being on the planet, we are born with rights, and the rights derives from United Nations Declaration of the Universal Human Rights. But then we also have responsibilities, and we mature with our responsibilities. So the first 3 principles is about our physical and mental health, and then the coming 3 is about our relationships, and the last is about us as a humanity, that we also we have rights and responsibilities.
That's, like I said, to me it just fits with what we're trying to do as well. And just to let everybody know, we're doing this a little bit different. Stephanie is going to be joining me in a couple hours, and we're going to do our part with Stephanie's move to build the homestead for her family and the veterans. Her schedule's gotten very busy, so this is going to be a little more maybe of the norm. We're still trying to work it out to where You're going to see me do a lot of the interviews, and then Stephanie and I are going to get together. She is still very much involved and very much wanting to support everything that we're doing. So you guys know how important this is to her as well. Stefan, how did you guys find each other? Because where you guys both come from the same country, you're a couple.
Sure.
You're a little far away from Maria now.
Yeah, so we're both Swedish, but I happen to live in southern Spain since 7 years back. Has nothing to do what we're doing here, but the last half decade or so, I've been very much involved with sustainable businesses, not just environmental, because that's what's the first thing people think about when they say sustainable, but I really talk about sustainable businesses, that everyone is involved, it's sustainable, and everyone wins. So I've done that for a couple of years, and during lockdowns and COVID and all of that, everyone turned onto Zooms. So, and I got connected through someone, I think it was John Donnelly, that he met Maria, he met me, and said, "You guys need to meet." And that's networking. And it took a year before we actually met face to face. But so that's how we come across. And I how should I say? Yeah, I work from Spain, and I'm Swedish. That's it.
You guys also have another partner who is in Dallas, Texas. He is your American leg of your tripod. He is the one who is working hard to push the program and introduce the program here in the United States. Tell us a little bit about Daniel, Maria.
Oh, Daniel is amazing. I'm so happy that I have such a great team. Daniel is working with security, and his background is very solid within security. And Stefan is great in how he has supported and to create this solid, sustainable foundation that we are creating. So yeah, it's I'm really, really happy. And, I feel sort of semi-American myself because my mom lived half her life in United States. She lived in California between 1960 and 1972 in San Francisco. I lived in Los Angeles for a year. And then my mom lived the last 17 years in Florida, in Sarasota. So and my brother lives in Florida. So yeah. So my heart is really with America, and now it's time to launch the human contract and to assure that to have a discussion about that we have both rights and responsibility as humans.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me ask you this really quick, Stefan. You were talking about sustainability. One of the easiest things to sustain are human abilities, right? I mean, when it comes to life, when it comes to business, you need happy, healthy humans to continue to do business.
Yeah, okay. So I would say my contribution to the human contract is rather the organization setup and the way that this organization can live for over 100 years. Initially, we are a traditional foundation that, of course, need the philanthropic help to get going. But the structure we set up is to be self-sufficient in 5 years, not depending on donations and sponsors forever, because this is a huge task, and that will jeopardize the whole idea if we are suddenly running out of funds 5 years down the line. So my contribution is here to set up the structure. that's the sustainability part, I would say.
We're looking at your at the website now, and I think the greatest thing about the website is you're showing, and I love the picture of the fists in the air, because that just shows that this is about diversity. This is taking human beings as one race, and that's the human race, and making sure that we treat everyone with that respect, with that honor, because we're all, when it comes to it, we're all the same, and we should all be treated the same.
We should all be treated the same, and have mutual respect, and dignity is really a core value for us. I've helped my friend in her funeral business for 5 years, and in last year I was speaking at the World Peace Conference here in Stockholm, and was the keynote speaker, and I talked about how I worked with dignity, and to see all religions, all the major religions, and how I worked with over 4,000 deaths, all over 4,000, both casketing, and also with great dignity and respect in different and various religious ceremonies. Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, and also secular religions and ceremonies. And no matter age, no matter background, I casket the guy who lived on the street for 15 years, as well as the lady in the Chanel dress, and with the same dignity and the same core value, which is really the core also for the human contract. And that it's a contract that you sign for yourself, with yourself, and for humanity. It's not a contract with me or Stefan. It's really, like you mentioned in our previous conversation, a grassroots movement for humanity.
I love underneath the sign there that says welcome to the human contract, human rights and human responsibilities. We all have responsibilities to each other to take care of each other. I close out every show by saying, take care of each other, because we're all we got. We're not, none of us are a different species. We're all the same. We all ought to be treated the same. For a world in a state of grace. Another beautiful, beautiful comment. You guys are run on. Oh, I guess if I tried to move the right, one here, you guys are run on the 7 principles of human dignity. I would like to go through the 7 one at a time. And you guys can, I'd like to get a comment from both of you on each one, okay? The first one is the principle of body. And this is, we have the right to bodily integrity. We have the right, we have the responsibility towards our body. Maria, what is your comment on this?
Yeah, when we are born, we come to this world and we are given a body. So that's all we know. And it's that we have both rights. So we are born with our rights, and we mature in our responsibilities. And as an infant, we need help with our responsibilities. And the 4 pillars, or the 4 fundaments of the first principle, is our rights and responsibilities for our sleep, how we eat, and that we eat nourished food. So sleep, food, exercise, and then touch, because touch is really a fundamental core for us as people. It's also connected with how we have the nervous system and everything. So Yeah.
Okay, Stefan, what would you like to add to that?
Yeah, as a general, for all the 7 principles, I would say we're so used to know and make use of our human rights, but it's always comes together with the responsibility. But I tend to answer this question by saying we kind of outsourced the responsibilities to someone else. So in the name of your own body, we outsource that to other people instead of taking our own responsibility on how to treat our own body.
Mm.
So we blame the gym instructor or the doctor for not giving the right medicine or whatever. But first and foremost, you have your own responsibility as long as you can go to take care of yourself.
Mm.
But it's super easy just to sit back and let someone else, I use my right, fix me,
Mm.
rather than be proactive and say, I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to take my own responsibility for myself. And this goes through all the 7 principles, honestly.
Thank you,
I,
Stefan. Agree.
yeah, that's wonderful. Second, we have is emotion. We have the right to our emotions. We have a responsibility for our emotions and to breathe emotions.
Yeah.
What does
What does it mean
Yeah.
to breathe emotions? Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So it's I give an example like when my mother died. She died in Florida, and how I was with her when she died, and I restored her integrity, and made her beautiful and nice, and then she passed on, and then I was 2 days after, I was breathing emotions, and I was breathing emotions fast. It means, so I went into a room. I said to my brother, I need to be alone. And then I took a pillow and I hit I was getting out lots of anger, rage. I was so mad. And then underneath the anger was cry and sadness. And then underneath that, it was more anger, and then I was laughing because it was all so turbulent. But it's that we have the right to all our emotions. We have the right to our anger, we have the right to our frustration, but this also indicates that there is something underneath that, and to be curious about our emotions. So we have both rights and responsibility, and of course, not to act out all the time our emotions onto others, but to take responsibility.
Stefan, how does this tie into the emotional steps? As Maria was just talking about, you have fear, anger, uh, sadness, remembering all those. You go through all those steps. Like she said, when she lost her mom, you have different steps that you go through. How does the second principle affect those? Or how is it affected by those?
Uh, I I would like to say whenever we are sharing or oversharing our emotions with others, we are pointing fingers and say, you did something wrong, you did
Yes.
something bad. But if you look at my hand, there are 4 fingers pointing this way. So maybe that has something to do how I'm getting treated. It's how I act on my emotions. So it's more if I do it in a way that I would like to be treated, I it's a bigger chance that I will receive that in any way of these emotions that you can share with the world in different ways.
Yeah.
I really like that because it's not once again when you're pointing at somebody and you're blaming them, you really got to think. I like the analogy of how many fingers are pointing back at me. How am I taking this? Am I taking this in the right way? You know, is somebody saying something and I'm just flying off the handle because my emotions are are not under control? So what a wonderful, wonderful answer. The
Mm.
third principle is thought.
Mm.
We have the right to free thought. Oh,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have the responsibility for those thoughts to broaden perspective.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
exactly. And so that refers to that, we are born and we have it also follows our development as humans with the body, and then we have emotions as an infant, and then we start to formulate our thoughts, and that we do have the freedom of thought. We have the right to think any kind of thought, and also to um, the responsibility to trying to broaden perspectives, and it refers to what we call istima. Istima means learning, or actually it means life learning. It's from a fictive language, and it's when you go from one if you go from one perspective and you shift perspective, or you go from, some people call it, level of consciousness. If you go from one level of consciousness and you shift, you don't go from here and just, raise consciousness. You dive into the emotions that we were talking about earlier, but also our thoughts. So diving into the thoughts and struggling with thoughts. And I know every entrepreneur, every person have their own process of, broadening perspectives and to be more curious. But we have the right to the whole range of being also close-minded, and
Mhm.
and then but it's an indication that there are other perspectives to be discovered.
The not being open, um and I have a dream, I guess is the best way to put it, that I would like to someday write a book where I talk about the similarities and the differences of different religions, not to compare and contrast religions, but to make others aware of the reasoning behind some of the conversation there. I
Yeah.
think that has a lot to do with what I think that there's a lot of there's a lot of synergy there in between this principle and that book. Stefan?
Yeah, I'm thinking, of course, we can have any crazy thought that we want in our head. We can't practice it. And that's of course obvious. My story is maybe my personal experiences when I went through my divorce, and we went through therapy, both of us, and learning not to act on what I thought she done, she said, she have not done, and so, and open my mind and open my thinking. There is actually another alternative than my first thought, my first in the moment I wanted to reply on something, but oh, there is another version of this. There is another layer of this. She has another thinking of this question. That period, that really I learned that, okay, there are more perspectives in all the kind of thinking you can do. And you just need to be open to it, to embrace that and say, hey, I had one thought. It doesn't mean that's the one and only single
Yep.
truth. So for me, that period in my life learned to just sit back and listen and to understand what the other person is talking about, their thoughts, rather than me pushing on mine.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Uh,
Yeah,
if
that is
if
such a
we
great
would,
example. Thank you, Stefan.
yeah, if we would all remember that, you know what, we all have thoughts. It doesn't mean they're always right, and it doesn't mean that they're always wrong. It means that, you know, maybe somebody's thinking of something similar but not right on, and it's also a perception of that other person's thought. If we really take and we understand what they're saying, maybe we are closer to one than we think.
Mm.
So I love that, because, you know, we're in a world right now where, you know, living with somebody is very, very difficult as it is. And if you want to take and shift 100% of the blame on somebody, you know, it's just not going to work out. So the
And
fourth principle, oh,
yeah,
go on ahead, Dolores.
and that's also why the first three principles, and why it's important that the first three principles is just the commitment and the promise we make to ourselves, and that we take rights and responsibility for our physical and mental health. And then we have the coming three, which is interpersonal. Yes.
Yeah, I know that the second principle and the third principle really tie in together. I mean, they really, really do tie in together, really, very tightly.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested to see how the rest of these go. The fourth principle we have is movement, and we have the right to freedom of movement. We have the responsibility in our movement to respect others, laws, and policy.
Yeah, exactly. So again, with the infant moving along from the body, emotion, and our thoughts, our thinking, and then the movement. And this is also connected to United Nations Declaration of the Universal Human Rights, that we have the freedom of movement, um, which is, both in how we act and how we move in the world, but also to create movements. And the fourth principle is also connected to power, to take your rightful space and place in the world, and to use, it's how you use your time and your energy. It also ties to our financial power and our sexual power, and how we act and interact with each other as humans, and to not to act and take your responsibility over any other, but not to make yourself small either. So this is and creating lots of istima in our relationships, how we act and how we interact, and it's a constant learning as a human. So yeah.
Wow. Stefan?
Yeah, I would maybe take the example. I'm Swedish. I happen to live in European Union, which Spain is a part of. And within that European Union, we have the freedom of movement. The responsibility, though, is down to me to take care of me. So I'm not a burden to Spain. I will see to that I run my life, and I will not um, push Sweden on Spain. It's my responsibility to be a part of this country, this culture, this language, and be responsible of myself and my acting here, for example.
Very good.
I really like that. And that could work from state to state or home to home.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
I live this way, but that doesn't mean that you should have to live that way to placate me.
Mm.
Wonderful, wonderfully put. The fifth principle is communication.
Yeah.
We have the right to communicate, create, express ourselves freely. We have the responsibility towards what we communicate and express, aiming to converse and create with dignity and respect for both ourselves and others.
Yeah, yeah. This is also the learning, right? The learning of that we have, and we are born with our rights to express and to create. You know, the artists are creating, and I think there's an artist in all of us, and how we have the freedom of expression. I have lots of friends who are reporters and journalists, and they stand on the barricades, you know, for the freedom of speech. But with that freedom also comes a responsibility. And it's a matter of how we speak, how we express, and when we notice, both in relationships, like in Stefan's and mine as a co-founder and founder, and we're talking about, and we're learning with respect to listen to each other, because that's really the core of the human contract, and to be living the human contract, and how we act and interact with each other, and how we express. And yeah, it's a learning. It's a great learning. And yeah.
I like this one because this also puts an onus on dignity and respect for both ourselves and others. This is, you've got to treat yourself with you got to treat yourself with respect to be able to respect others. So, Stefan?
Yeah, I think this maybe came very close to everyone during COVID, because then we have the pros and cons, all the, how should I say, rage and emotions that was built upon my beliefs, or if that was black or white, or if that's right or left, or whatever that was. So I hope, or that we are learning from that, and we should take our human right to have freedom of speech, as long as I don't push it on you. You need to believe what I say, you need to act what I talk about. Is more, but I can say what I want to say, as long as I'm not doing anything illegal, or sending one to on the wrong directions. But there is a lot of, how should I say, concern in the world today of self-censoring, which is actually more dangerous than censoring, because then we didn't even get to understand what you wanted to say from the beginning, because you censored yourself.
This is one that right now in the world is very this is a huge problem right now in the world, and I know that we made the commitment to where we weren't going to be talking a lot of politics, and I'm not going to. But this is one right here that like you just said, we have the right to say whatever we want. That doesn't mean that we have the right to push that on other people. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And you are right. We have the right. Not everyone on the planet has.
Right.
Yeah.
Far from it. Far from it. So here we are not just talking about the responsibility of this. It's also the human rights that we are not seeing in many countries in the world.
Yeah, I actually, this is a little bit of foreshadowing that we're doing here. I have a question coming up very, very similar to that after we get done with these. So, and how this all ties into that. So I'm excited that you brought that up. But yeah, I have a question coming up about all that. The sixth principle is life. We have the right to our life, to live with whomever we choose, where and how we wish, but not at a detriment to others. This includes all life forms. We must respect all life.
Yeah, exactly. And so the human contract is the promise you make to yourself, for yourself, and for humanity, that from the day we are born until we die, to take responsibility, to live your rights as a human, but also to take responsibility for your life and to respect other lives. And how we um, how we mistreat the planet, and like Stefan was referring to earlier, is also the fact that we do have about 45 million slaves in the world today, all over the world. We have never had as many slaves in numbers through our human history. And that means, how many people are around that, buying and selling other humans is horrible, and we need to end it. And this is the movement and the support for everyone to take their responsibility for their life and to respect other lives.
Yeah. There's a lot of times that people, Maria, with what you were saying, they only see the slavery as a black and white thing in the United States. That's not the way it is. With trafficking, with just military force, with military forced enslavement, with everything like that. We need to remember that slavery is not something that was exclusively in the past, and we got to be careful, as in our own human contract. We have to be careful that we are not participating and allowing the slavery to happen by our actions. We need to be careful on what we do, because we can unwillingly know or unknowingly support slavery by a choice that we make. So that's something that we've really got to watch out for. Stefan, what's your take on this?
Two completely different ones. One is, I read a documentary many years ago about cocaine and how cocaine is produced mostly in South America, taking it through the jungle, with the ships into Europe, into the streets for people's joy or whatever, satisfaction here. And most of the people that I speak to that uses this, what does it matter? It's only this much. Maybe, I take responsibility for my body. It will not matter to me. No, but you didn't take into account that they calculate that 1 kilo of that white powder on a street in Europe is one human life. Somewhere along that line, you are killing someone else by using that. And that is not taking responsibility for life. Secondly, we now move to Spain, and maybe you hear one of my dogs barking behind me here. So we moved here, and it's a completely different way and responsibility and a view of what life is and the value of life. In this case, we're talking about is pets, so cats and dogs. And compared to Sweden, they are 100 years behind. They still have kill animals for fun on Sundays. So they go to this arena and killing bulls, and they teaching kids and applaud and laugh and have joyful events on killing animals. This, of course, goes down to when they come home, they practice that on the cat or dog. And when they're done, they just leave it on the street. We come here as Swedes and see this, and we're like, we can't live like this. So we turned our home into a sanctuary for cats and dogs. We can't just pass by them and see them and don't give,
Mm.
So taking care of life is precious, not only human life, also animal life.
Yeah.
I watched a story, Stefan, the other day on one of the major news networks about how dog fighting is once again heavily prevalent in America, and that's just, you know, you saw some of the cutest little pit bull puppies that are turned into entertainment, and they're bred to die. That's it. I
Mm.
have 5 dogs myself. Okay, we have 5 dogs in my household. And I could not imagine using one of those just for destroying the life of another animal. They're my they're like my kids. And if you treat them right, that's what they can be.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Maria, you were going to say something?
No, I think it was a great example, Stefan,
Yeah.
and your wife Linda, she's doing this foster care home for dogs and cats, and you build a beautiful life, and yeah. Oh, you should have her on some other day, Zach. She has a heart of gold. She's so amazing.
We're more than willing to promote anybody who's
Yeah.
doing good. So, but
Yeah.
yes, you know, Stefan, it does. It sounds like a wonderful life. Sounds a little noisy, but it sounds like a wonderful life. You know, this is probably and this is kind of funny. Anybody who's watching my show, this is probably the longest I've ever went without one of mine coming up and joining our broadcast, because they're always on my shoulder. So I've got 2 animals that think that they're my co-hosts. So, but I'm pretty sure now that I've said something, it's coming up.
Yeah. So the last.
The 7th one is the 7th principle is collective.
Yeah.
Collectively, we have rights as humans to live side by side as neighbors, cohabitate in suitable environments. This is fundamental to our existence. We have collective responsibilities, civil courage, and to stand up against injustices for all life on earth.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we built the human contract to be, the promise for yourself. And the first 3 is personal. The coming 3 is how we act and interact with each other. And the 7th principle is about us as a union. And collectively, how it sort of summarizes our rights, our human rights, which is based on United Nations Declaration of the Human Rights. But also collectively, in Swedish, we call this civilkurage, which is moral courage, and to encourage our courage to step up for one another. If I'm on the metro here in Stockholm, or if I see something that is not right, it's our collective responsibility to step up. And this sort of ties together all the other principles, all the other promises, that collectively and united we can make a change, we can make a difference, and we can end slavery, and we can do it now. But it's when the people who are working and acting and being in these clusters of indignity, with abuse, and when people can unite and say, this is wrong, we're not doing it anymore. And I'm thinking of how we had in 1989, when I was actually living in US. I was living outside of Los Angeles. We had the Berlin Wall falling down, because people on both sides said, no, we won't do this anymore. And people were just, going across across this wall and tearing down the wall. And also the soldiers that were standing there did not intervene, even though that was their job, actually, to be killing people. But 1989 was a big breaking point, because it just come to that point where people said, enough of this. We want to unite, and we want to collaborate better, and we want to tear down the wall of fear. I think it was the symbol of that, really.
In the early 70s, we lived in Berlin. My father was in the service, and we lived in Berlin, and our apartment overlooked into East Germany. We could see the wall. The wall went right across our apartment, okay, right outside of our apartment. And there's a picture of me as a child looking, both hands on the window, looking down, and you could see into the east, over the into the east side of the wall. When the wall came down, that was something where it was earth-shattering as an act. But to me personally, it was one of those things, knowing and having a connection to that wall. It was something that I will never forget. The words of Ronald Reagan when he asked Gorbachev to tear down that wall. And I knew, just because of my personal experience with it, I knew how good that was for humanity.
Yeah.
So I love that you brought that up. Stefan?
The human right of the collective life, so to speak. I'm from Sweden, and we kind of outsourced that to the government, or to organizations, or other NGOs, or someone else, to take care of the things that we could handle ourselves if we just unite and come together. When you have children, and at least in Sweden, when we live in a city, you walk in the small town you live in at night to see that they are not out and getting drunk or in fights or whatever. And that's just volunteer work. And I can't send someone else because it's my kids. I need to just do that walk because that's my kids out there. But this is exactly the same with any question that you come across in your life. If you just continue to say, no, that authority take over that, and that organization have that responsibility, I do nothing.
Right. There's quarrel over there, let's call the police. Or it's something in the school, well, that's the school's problem, it's not my problem. Or pushing out. Exactly. Yeah.
So I think this is central for everything that we do in human contract. And I would say this is the grassroots movement. This is the community coming together, because this is not me and Maria and you, Zach. It's thousands and thousands and thousands of people that say, hey, let's get together, let's fix this, let's unite, let's get it back on. And so this is the central one, I would say, for everything.
Yeah. And that beyond religion, beyond party politics, we're all just human. So yeah, we can make a difference.
And we've all found our level in humanity and in happiness and in all of that within our religion, within our party politics, within our race, within we've all found a level of happiness there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we need to take in and step on someone else's thoughts because they're a little bit different.
Right.
It means that we should, you can have those discussions without demolishing someone else's beliefs.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, I have an uncle that I love dearly, that he and I politically we stand miles apart. And it's one of those things that, you know what, he and I we discuss politics. But we both know that there's just a certain place that, you know, we don't go there. You know, we talk freely. We talk every day, and we end these conversations with "I love you. Have a great night."
Yeah.
We end those conversations that way because it's not worth tearing someone else down and tearing a relationship apart.
Right.
We
Mm.
have that freedom to feel.
Yeah.
We don't have the freedom to hurt someone else. That's not, it's not dignified.
Right.
And I think that, you know, there's no dignity in that. There's no strength in it.
Right. And also with the freedom of expression and the freedom of communication and creation, it's also to, because some weeks ago, unfortunately, we had some people burning books here in Sweden,
Mhm.
and it was a very sad moment for me, because it stirred a couple of 100 million people up, and they were very, very angry. And then the people who did this were like, well, so what? It's my freedom of speech, it's my freedom of expression. But if you do and you say things, which we do, you know, we're human, right, Zach? So we do things and we say things that are like, well, maybe that was not so good. And so the responsibility is to stay in communication and to listen and to try
Mhm.
to understand the other perspective. So if you are doing things or saying things that you notice, like, oops, that was offensive, it's to stay in communication.
It's definitely well worth thinking before you speak. You know, make sure that, you know, you're saying what you really want to say instead of just taking and blurting something out there and with the risk of hurting someone else. Stefan, here's the question back to what you were saying earlier. We have countries all over the world, and I'm not going to pull one out of the hat and I'm not going to say it. We have countries all over the world where government or military action or something has their thumb firmly on the people of their country. How can we, as part of the human contract, how can we do things to positively affect them, even though there's going to be pushback against us?
Love the question. First of all, I think it's not done in a day. It will take a generation or two. And let me take another example. I support a charity in Uganda that has, for the last 20 years, run a school for orphans and for mostly deaf or what do you call it, dumb? Deaf and dumb children. So with issues, problems in life, and they also live in Uganda and have no parents. So and in that part of the world, corruption is a kind of a big thing. I've been there, so I also seen it myself. So what they do in this school is, because they realize that the older generations already in the system, they already taught by their parents and their surrounding that this is how it works. So what they do at this school, they have a magazine, what's it called? Toy magazine, a children's magazine, cartoon magazine, is it called? Yeah, where corruption is the bad guy, is the big bad wolf, is the monster in all these stories. So they teach the children this is the bad version. So, and there is where we're going to do the change over time through children saying there is an alternative. You don't have to be in that system. You can break free as a human, as long as you also take the responsibilities that comes with these rights in all these 7 principles that we just talked about.
Yeah.
It's not done in a day, but over generations, these people, the children will grow up and they will be in charge and they will be pushing that further and further. The other alternative is do nothing and say, hey,
Yeah.
it's been like this forever and it's going to end like this forever. Or we say, no, let's change.
Yeah.
Because we have countries in the world that have changed, that have come out of this.
Yeah.
So there is a chance, there is a possibility. And I'm one of them that can say, I don't want to sit and just look do nothing.
Yeah, no regime has
Mm.
lasted throughout humanity.
Right.
No regime has ever lasted throughout humanity. Dare I say, no religion has lasted throughout through humanity. You know, so things change, and if we work together,
Yeah.
as we always say, no one has to go it alone. When we all come together, when we all work together, we can make huge difference for other people.
Yeah. And that's also why we have created a foundation to work on long term. This is not, something that is a quick fix. It's not something, but we need to start to have the conversation now. And Stefan and I, we're so excited that we're starting this year in United States,
Yes.
and to have this movement starting. However, I have friends in over 100 countries, I would say, and I know that my friends say that this is brilliant, Maria. My hi doggy. my friends in Asia, in Europe, in America and South America, people say that the human contract is really what is needed, and it's not religious, it's not party political. This is about humans taking a stand for themselves and with themselves. And so no matter what kind of organization you have in your country, hello sweetie, no matter what
Told you one of them was going to pop up.
Yeah.
So,
what's the name of your dog?
This one here is Ghost. Yeah,
Ghost.
Yeah, that one's Ghost. So, but
so no matter the organization form that you have in your country, it's really about you taking a stand for yourself and how you will act and interact in the world. So yeah.
Well, I know that it kind of went in a little bit of a different direction, and you guys decided to be more localized and take what you're doing and not stop and not. I don't even see it as a slow down thing. I think it's more of a targeted targeted introduction that I think can just only help you grow. Tell me this. What are some of the things, and we all know that money is vital to organizations. Outside of money, what are some of the things that people can do to support the human contract?
Stefan, do you want to?
Okay, yes. Sorry. Yeah. So of course, to support us by signing on the website, you can sign up for the human contract. Again, it's not signing it with us. it's signing it with yourself. Yeah, exactly there.
Yeah.
And so you are one in the team taking a stand, helping us to grow this going forward. We
Mm.
will build out this website very, very soon with more options on this, but that's a first thing to do, and just sign up there.
Right.
We are planning to roll this out very soon in 2024 in the US, and everyone in America, please get in contact with us so we can work together to spread this together.
Yeah. Yeah,
You're
exactly. So to sign up and to join us, and I would also love to come and speak and have speaker engagement and to share and to talk more about this. And yeah, of course, we would love donations
Mhm.
to keep this movement going. How we deepen, we could call it to deepen democracy, or how we, how we stand up better for ourselves and one another.
I think one of the things that we've learned here in this wonderful hour that we've spent together, one of the things that we've really focused on, and I think is vitally important, is you need to speak. You need to take action. We all know what's right. We all know what's right. Deep down, when you know you're doing something you're not supposed to, you know you're doing something you're not supposed to.
Mm.
We need to stand up for other people. We need to make sure that we're not harming other people. Um, you know, like I was mentioning before, if you are, if you're participating in any way in the drug trade, as you said earlier, Stefan, there's a human aspect to that. It is a disease. Human, being addicted to drugs, it is a disease, and it is a tough disease. But you need to realize that this isn't only your life, this isn't the life of your family that you're affecting. There are other people in other countries that paid the ultimate price for this. Cartels take over governments and rule
Mm.
lives on a misconception that they're doing wonderful things for people quite often.
Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, they'll purchase a new soccer field, but you know, how much blood was spilled for that one soccer field? And how many how many people were torn down for that one soccer field? So, um, I would like to ask Maria, can I get any final words from you, please?
I'm I'm really, really happy to be here and to collaborate with you. And I'm so excited about 2024 and how we are moving forward. Um, and peace in the world starts from within. It starts with how we treat ourselves, our body, our thoughts, and our emotions, and then how we move about in the world. So, yeah, sign the human contract and join us.
Absolutely,
Promise
Stefan.
yourself. It's a promise to yourself. Yeah.
There you go,
Mm.
Stefan.
Yeah, how you say it? Echo that 100%. And what can I add to this? I just want to repeat the last seventh principle, the promise of uniting. I do believe that it's built in the DNA of humans that we can conquer any problem when we come together for one cause. And if that cause is to keep us being human and friendly and work together, hey, no one is losing, everyone is winning. Let's do it together.
Again, people are sick of hearing me say it, but no one has to go it alone when we all come together.
Mm.
This right here proves that I'm not the only one that thinks this, that we at Community Pay It Forward are not the only ones that think this. The human contract is standing right there beside us, and we're standing right beside them. The human contract is, we are working diligently. You guys are joining the program, so you can support the human contract by simply shopping with any of our partners, as well as the human contract is our organization of the month. So anytime that you buy any One Hope wine for this month, you can support the human contract. We will be right back, and we will have the goddess of the grapes, Stephanie Samos, is going to be joining us, and she's going to be doing her part. And you can learn more about how you can take and turn 2024 into support for wonderful organizations like the Human Contract. Maria, Stefan, thank you so very much for spending this last hour with me. It was eye-opening and wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, like I was saying before, this is something, by the way, you can still support the human contract when you purchase One Hope wines. That is still a possibility. They were we brought them to One Hope wines, and due to the wonderful way that the company is now set up, they will always be there as an option to support them. You can also find them on our website, communitypayitforward.us. And every time that you make a purchase, you can support the human contract. You can help them continue their work, fighting slavery, fighting oppression, fighting all these other things, trying to make sure that people are, in our words, coming together. So please join them again, and check them out. If you want any more, information about them, please just reach out to me through communitypayitforward.us, and I will get you all the information that you need. We do have one more little bit of business. I want to welcome Tanya Block-Rossen to the program. And this is a little bit of information about what about her programs that has turned our, I don't know if you guys get it yet, but if you don't get it, make sure you send me an email, Zach at communitypayitforward.us, that's ZAK at communitypayitforward.us, and say, hey, I want your emails. So you can continue to see what we've got going in our emails. This is some of the other stuff that they do with Smart Visual Solutions.
The playbook for growing a local business online is simple. Capture new leads, conversationally convert those leads into sales, turn those customers into positive reviews, and then reactivate those customers into repeat buyers. And that's exactly what our platform does. In order to consistently generate new leads, you first need to be found. The quickest way to get search engines like Google to put your business at the top of search results is by having a steady flow of positive reviews. With our platform, you can show up in search and stand apart from your local competition by easily collecting new customer reviews through text. But getting found is only the beginning. Most consumers choose the first business that responds to them. So unless you start conversations with potential customers almost instantly, they'll go somewhere else. That's why we make starting conversations with website visitors as easy as clicking a button, connecting you instantly through text message so the conversation doesn't end when they leave your website. And we bring all your leads, no matter where they come from, into a single conversation stream that supports text, email, video messaging, Google Business Chats, and even Facebook and Instagram DMs, so you can respond faster and more efficiently than ever. When it comes to turning all those conversations into customers, we make collecting payments just another convenient part of the combo, so you get paid faster no matter how they prefer to pay. Next, you'll want to turn your new customers into happy reviews, which is a snap with our new review request quick actions. The more conversations and customers you generate, the easier it becomes to drive repeat business. We make reactivating contacts into customers as easy as, yup, you guessed it, the push of a button. With bulk actions, you can send out text and email campaigns to generate new sales whenever you have a new update, promotion, or story to tell. We make modern online marketing simple. Let's start growing your business today.
Again, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful program. Brand new partner, Tanya Block-Rosen. Just go on to Community Pay It Forward and find her. She's a wonderful new gold partner. We have a lot going on with Community Pay It Forward, a lot going on with the PAC channel. One of the things that has changed is it's no longer the PACT podcast. It is now Community Impact. We've turned this into a quarterly magazine with a coffee table book at the end of the year. But there's more. Not only you, as a business owner, get to come on, tell your story on Community Impact podcast. We write the story about your where, when, why, who you are, what you do, what it's all about. Your story, your beautiful journey, your difficult journey, the things that you love, the things that you don't like about what you do. We're going to tell that story. We're going to tell people about you. When we're done telling them about you, we're going to do something extra special. We're going to ask you as a business owner to give us the name of something that you support, you spend your life supporting. We want you to join the Community Pay It Forward, the Community Pay It Forward family. You don't have to be part of the Community Pay It Forward family to continue this. Now, you will get a discount if you're part of the Community Pay It Forward family. Just saying. But you don't have to be. What we want you to do is also tell us about a nonprofit or a school or something that does something spectacular, that raises money, and why they raise money, what they do when they raise money. We're going to send them the exact same information we send you to get the story they're doing to raise money, how they're raising money, why they're raising money, what is going to benefit others when they raise this money. They will also get a spot on Community Impact. We'll ask them to come on and join us. And they will also appear at the year-end Community Impact Coffee Table Book. This is all one price. It doesn't matter if you give us the nonprofit or not. This is all one price. Same price. We really want to get these things that you love, that you support, we really want to get them out in front of people. So please contact us for more information about Community Impact. There will be much more information coming out in the next week. We've got to get busy if we're going to be releasing it in a month. Yeesh. So we need you to get with us. Oh, look who's here. One of my co-hosts. Look at this. You know, she didn't appear in the last episode. It was the other one. But yeah, you knew she couldn't stay gone for long. You know, I was talking, so she had to come and make herself known. So this is Zephyr, or we call her baby girl. But please make sure that what we said earlier, at least think about it. There's no reason why we should be fighting against each other in order to protest violence. Let's work at solutions. Are you going to get frustrated by some things that you hear, or, with compromise? Are you going to get frustrated? Oh, hell yes. Every day. Nobody ever gets everything they want. Nobody gets everything they want. Dig your heels in, but allow your traction to be a little flexible. And let's see what we can do together. Community Pay It Forward, and here on Footprints Forward, our goal is to make sure that we keep pushing people towards that forward direction, trying to help them stay away from mental issues and suicide. You can help us do this by telling your story. Scan the QR code up top. Tell us that you want to come on. Tell us what you want to talk about. We'll have a pre-interview, and then we'll bring you on to talk about your show. Next week, I'm going to be joined by a really good guy. I talked to him earlier today, and I'm really excited about introducing you guys to Mr. Craig Gustafson. Craig spent 50 years of his life uncomfortable in situations, not knowing how to, and I brought this up with him, and so I'm going to use it here. He was like the character of Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory, where he would say things at inappropriate times, not because he wanted to be an ass, but it's because he didn't know the difference between when to say it, where to say it. His thought is he might be, or his philosophy is he's a little on the spectrum, but not enough to where it makes a huge bit of difference. Look, everybody has their own thing, but this is what it was. He was uncomfortable with society. He's put together, using science, a program that can help others who are feeling anxious and nervous and worried and unable to deal with this. So we invite you to join us next week on Footprints Forward as I bring you an interview with Craig Gustafson. And I hope that you're going to join us at 6 p.m. East, 4 p.m. here in the mountains, 3 p.m. out Pacific. Look, please take care of each other. We're all we got. If you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. So make sure nobody has to go it alone when we all come together. My name is Zach Clayton with Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, the PAC channels, Community Impact, and Footprints Forward. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you same time. I would say same channel, but who knows? We might be somewhere else next week too. We're right here on Pact.